Welcome to the third lab section of this class. This is the lab section on child language acquisition. And this is going to be a really short lab section because what I have over here is I have a couple of videos, but I am going to link this PowerPoint on Blackboard so that you can watch the videos at home at your own leisure. But I just want to ask you at this point, because we are almost reaching the midpoint of the semester, do you have any questions about what we have talked in child language acquisition, or do you have any questions about this course in general with respect to where we are in this class and any of the concepts that we have discussed, etc. Feel free to email me any questions or clarifications that you may have, or feel free to even walk into my office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock in Linguist Hall on the 6th floor. You don't have to make an appointment to come in and see me during my office hours, but I will also be very happy to schedule something if that time doesn't work for you, face to face or online over Zoom or Skype. So do let me know if you are struggling with a concept or you have any other question that you may have, because we are getting to the midpoint of the semester. So I just want to make sure that all of you are on the same page. And with respect to the phonology exercises, I also wanted to ask if you have all practiced them at home and how did you find the exercises, and I hope that you are feeling a lot more confident about doing or solving a phonology problem. So this is your reminder that your first midterm is coming up, and it is on Thursday, October 17th. We will be doing a midterm review in 2 weeks' time, so you will feel a lot more confident about the kind of questions that you can expect. But in general, again, like I told you, you don't have to memorize anything. My questions are not going to be like, explain what's complementary distribution, what is a phoneme. But I will be giving you problems to solve, like how we've been doing with phonetics and phonology, and that's the way that your midterm is going to be structured. It will be out of 25 points, and I will talk a lot more about this when we get into the midterm review week. But this is your reminder that you have to take this exam face to face. This is not an open book exam. It is a closed book exam. The only thing that you will have access to is your IPA handout, which I will give you during the exam. And it is a 1 hour, 15-minute exam scheduled for 11 o'clock on Thursday, October 17th. Couple of you have been emailing me towards the beginning of the semester saying that you will be unable to make this time, and we have made special arrangements for them. But if you are unable to come during this time, please email me at the earliest so that we can make different arrangements for you, so that we can work with your schedule as well. And I just wanted to clarify why the exam is happening on a Thursday at 11. I teach my face-to-face English Linguistics 315 at the same time on Thursdays, and they are taking the exam, so I would just rather give all of you the exam at the same time. And the reason why this is not scheduled for a Saturday or a Sunday is because I have a lot of students who work over weekends, and so I've typically found that weekends are not really good for students who take English and Linguistics 315. So if this time doesn't work for you, please email me. We can find an alternative for you to take the exam. All right, so these are 2 videos that I want you to watch, and this has to do with the WUG test, which you might have read about in your textbook. This has to do with how children actually acquire the correct past tense given novel new words of English. And so this is a really exciting video, fun video to watch. That's a photo of a WUG or a drawing of a WUG. So do watch these 2 videos. This is a TED Talk, and I really like this TED Talk. It has to do with why babies are linguistic geniuses and how do babies actually learn a language. This is given by Professor Patricia Q, and this, I believe, is from either 2010 or 2011, so it's a couple of years old, but it's still quite relevant, I think, to what we talked about with respect to child language acquisition. And this is a longer TED Talk given by Professor Deb Roy at MIT. And this has to do with the birth of a video, and this has to do with how he videotaped his entire son's movements and language acquisition throughout the course of the child's first couple of years. And it's a really exciting video. It's very cutting edge, and so I want you to listen to this as well. And very often when we talk about child language acquisition, we talk about corpora, or people who have collected child language data and put it into corpus. And so here's a corpus, which is a very famous corpus. It's called the Childless Corpora, Childless Corpus. And I've given you the link to that if you're interested in just looking at how child language data in corpuses look like. And here is the last video for this lab section, and this has to do with delayed gratification. And this is a hilarious video. My students always like seeing this video, so do watch it. It is also called as a marshmallow test. It's done by Stanford. And again, this is a very interesting research question and research that has been done over the past 40, 50 years or so. All right, so for the practice, what I want you to do is exercise 10.3 in your textbook. But what I want to get into right now is I want to talk about your assignment, your third assignment that is due this week on Sunday, September 29, before 11:59 p.m. And I have only 2 questions on this assignment. And what I've given you in exercise 1, I have given you the pronunciations of a 2-year-old child, right? And so I have given you adult words, and I've given you the IPA transcriptions of how this child actually says these words. So for the word Smith, the child says mit. For breakfast, the child says breakfast, etc. And what I want you to do is I want you first to transcribe all the adult words into adult IPA. So you would transcribe these into how you would say them. And then I want you to compare the child's IPA with your adult IPA. And I want you to tell me what are the changes that the child is actually making. So for example, let me do the first one for you. So in this, for example, when you transcribe it, you would transcribe it as the s, m, the e, and then the theta. Right? So if you compare the first one with the second one, you can see that there are 2 phonological or phonetic changes that have happened. So what I want you to tell me is what are those changes and what are the kind of changes that have happened. So for the first one, for example, with s and m, the child is actually deleting a particular sound, right? Tell me what sound it is that is being deleted. So remember your phonological processes: assimilation, deletion, and insertion. From your second module of phonology. So those are going to be the answers that you are going to give me. And also I want to remind you of the extra reading that has been put up on Blackboard. Do the reading, because that will definitely help you with this assignment and helping you solve exercise 1, right? So again, to recap, for exercise 1, transcribe each of these words into adult IPA and then compare the child's form with the adult form. Tell me all the changes that have happened between the adult form and the child's form, and tell me what is the reason or what's the phonological process that a child has actually applied in each of these cases. For exercise 2, this is drawing on what you do in exercise 1. I have given you a couple of different words. I want you to tell me how the child might actually pronounce each of these words. So once you complete exercise 1 and you've figured out all the phonological processes that the child has been doing, this will help you in doing exercise 2 and figuring out child pronunciations for each of these words. And I want you to give me the childlike pronunciations in IPA, right? Write them out in IPA for me. So this is a fairly straightforward example, straightforward exercises in child language acquisition. And again, let me know if you have any questions on the assignment, but definitely reading the extra optional reading on Blackboard will help you with understanding exercise 1 and doing exercise 1 correctly.